Rock TV. Rock TV. Rock TV.
When Greg has spoken about the All-Star Band, he describes it as a tremendous boys club, and you can really see that it's not just a musical connection.
No, we really do love each other. I mean, I really do like each other. And we hang out, we have dinner, and we laugh, we goof around. It's like being in a real band. Like, we know each other well enough. We travel around together, do the whole things the regular bands do. We've been together now going, 6 years now? So, and most of us have known each other for decades. I've known Richard Page since the 70s. I've known Greg Bissonette, who's the one who brought me in through Dave Hart, their agent. I've known him for 35 years. I don't know, a long time. But some of the other guys I just met, like Todd, I was a big, huge Todd fan. And to get to work with him was a big kick. And, this turned into that. It was supposed to be just one summer. And it turned into this, well, we kind of like each other. And you want to do it again somewhere else? And the next thing you know, here we are,
It doesn't seem like Ringo wants to get rid of you guys anytime
Nah, I don't think so anytime soon, man. To be honest with you, it was like we hadn't seen or played together in a year. And we walked in, and as soon as he counted off the song, it was like no time went by, man. Because it sounds like a band. It doesn't sound like a bunch of guys you throw up there and go, oh, one of your songs, one of my songs. Oh, I want to do better on my song than your song. I put as much into everybody else's material, if not more so, than my own. You know what I mean? They asked me, what do you want me to do? They know what to do. They play all the right stuff. And, on my stuff, I go, am I playing the part right? But now I know after all this many years, I know that I am playing the right parts, I guess. And,
being loving the Beatles since, since your childhood and getting to play with Ringo night after night, are there moments where it does leave you and you're just playing with a great drummer, or is it always there that, oh my God?
Well, I go out and work every night. It's all like I want to do the best I possibly can for him and for everybody else, and for the audience. So they're the paying customers. But to play with him, I consider it a great responsibility to do the very best I can, because he comes from that pedigree of the very best that there is. He's played with the best of the best. I mean, so the fact that I get to be a part of even a little teeny part of the history is mind-blowing to me. I mean, mind-blowing. If you'd have told me 50 years ago when I was a kid, it would have been like, yeah, and you'd be the first man on Venus, too. Why don't you go big, And for me, this gig is not work. This is not a job for me. This is doing this because I love this and I love the man.
Are there some songs that you would love for Ringo to do that he's not doing in the set that you're trying to convince him to do? What would you love for him to pull out?
Oh, I'd love for him to let us to do some Lennon and McCartney songs. But, he just looks at us and he goes, nope, we're not doing that. Because we played a lot of stuff. I don't know, for whatever reason, he has a personal reason for that. Maybe it's because he didn't, he wants to do the songs that were really part of him and showcase them. And I understand that, and I respect that. But there's still a part of us, like one sound check, we were goofing off and broke into I Should Have Known Better. And he went into full Ringo, like he did the whole head thing and the side thing, and he beat the shit out of the drums. It was awesome. And at the end, and there was nobody in the room. It was like this. And he reaches down into the microphone. Did you get that from Mr. Lukather? And I'm about died. I'm going like this. I'm living the dream, man. It's like, this is like I said, I do this kid to go on vacation. He doesn't even know that.
That's so amazing you mentioned. That's my favorite Beatles song. Actually.
Well, it's one of my, they're all my favorite Beatles songs.
Who was singing lead on that when you guys
did it? I think it was Todd and Richard, man. They have the voices.
Wow.
You don't argue with Richard Page and Todd Rundgren. You just go, please sing.
Obviously.
And we were just goofing off. It was just an impromptu thing. Usually he goes, all right, enough. I know you love the music. It was great. I love the band too. All that stuff that he does. But, he really decided, he just said, okay, you want to hear it? He's still got it, man. I will fight to the death anybody that says he ain't got it, because he's got it. Well, I saw it. I heard it. I played with him.
You mentioned George, and I wanted to ask you
Paul.
about jamming with him at Universal Amphitheater with another amazing guitar legend, Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah, he was a dear friend of mine. Ed and I go back 40 years. I met George a couple of days before in some nightclub, believe it or not. I just happened to walk in there, and they said he was there, and I said, of all the cats I want to meet, I've had a very interesting career. I mean, I've had a chance to work with a lot of my heroes, and they've all turned out to be, all but a couple have turned out to be amazing people. And this was a moment for me. I said, well, I'm going to be fanboy for a minute, and just asked him. I said, I just want to say hello and thank you for giving me a career, because his guitar sound made me want to play. I wanted to be George. You know, that was I love them all. No, who doesn't? But, you know, there's something about the sound of it. You know, there's the way he would do the Chet Atkins thing, the way he bent and the way it sounded. I didn't know what it was at the time. I was, 7, 8 years old. But at the time when I had the chance to meet him, I said, I don't want to bother him. I don't want to be that guy. But if I could, my name's Steve Lukather. I worked with Paul, and I've worked with, I'm not just some geek off the street. I just, out of respect, wanted to say thank you for everything. And I'll leave him alone. I'll walk right away. So he said, no, come on over. And I sat down, they said hi. And he was so gracious and so kind. No errors. He was just like inviting. And I said, I just wanted to say hello, man. And thank you, like with all sincerity, sober as a judge. And he says, no, sit down for a minute and talk. And then I started ordering drinks, and I had a couple in me. I don't do it anymore, but at the time I had a few in me, and I had the balls to ask him, well, we're playing this gig for our brother Jeff, who sadly just passed away. Would you come? We're doing a little help with my friends. But we got to do it the Cocker style, just because we got a big, huge band and everything. And I felt kind of embarrassed saying that. And he said, no, I'll come down. I thought, yeah, sure. And it was an all-star band anyway. Donald Fagen came, Don Henley, Eddie was there as a favor to me, and he knew Jeff too. And all the people that showed up, and there were people that showed. David Crosby showed up out of nowhere, Mike McDonald, Boz Skaggs. The list is good. And James Newton Howard, all kinds of interesting people. And we're backstage before we go on. I get this knock on the shoulder, and we're working something out, working on something with somebody else. He goes, yeah, there's somebody here to see. I go, I don't have time right now, and this is not a good time. He goes, no, you want to see this guy. He's from Liverpool. I went, no. And he showed up. And not only did he show up, he got up and played. And I have pictorial proof of this, which you'll read and see in my book. And then we became friends. He used to call me, he found me amusing. That's why he invited me to sit down next to him. Because first off, I know the guitar solos that he played, because Paul played some. And, the worst thing you can do is, compliment somebody on something they didn't do. You know what I mean? It's happened to me. Oh, you sounded great on that record. I go, no, that was my buddy Mike, or that was my buddy. So, and they go, oh, wow. So I knew better than to do that. I didn't want to piss the guy off. That's the last thing I wanted to do. But he was so nice. And then we started hanging out and going to dinners. I had dinner once with Bob Dylan, him, and Jim Keltner. And it was like, I'm looking around going, all the girls in high school that wouldn't have sex with me, they would now.
Rock Salad TV. 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 Rock Salad TV.